Superman number 23, Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason writing, Doug Mank on the art. And you know what? I actually, when I was taking down the names for this, I actually triple checked that there wasn't another artist.
No, yeah. I did. I just did the same as well. I think it's the Inkers. I really do.
There's 3 inkers, including Monkey himself.
And I'm blaming one of those inkers. I don't know who's the odd one out, but something is different with Mankey's art in this issue. It is not up to standard.
Well, I think it's inconsistent in the issue itself. I think there's 3. I think it's 3 double-page spreads or double-page layouts in the middle, and I think they look pretty rough, especially the last one. And not even just the art. I think the layouts are a little bit overstuffed. It was kind of reminding me a little bit of those Superwoman issues we complained about, where there was too many panels on some of the pages and things like that.
Yeah. But there's pages early on. If you go to the page after the credits title sequence, you've got Clark at the bottom saying, "I don't care what you call me." It's this close up on his face. I think it looks really ugly. But then you go to the next page, and it's at least the top half of the page, that stuff looks pretty great. I don't get it. It's so inconsistent.
Yeah, it really is. I think so. Yeah, I think that was obviously the one main problem we all seem to share. I had another couple of little problems. I think this was maybe a bit of a misstep of an issue in some ways. I think there's nothing wrong with a lot of the ideas. I think some of the execution is a bit flawed.
I think Superman's voice is actually a bit off at the start of the issue. I think it's really, we're cutting back between him and Lois, and he's like, "Oh, I can't take a chance smashing the stasis tubes until I have a better handle on it." And there's all these bits where he's kind of talking to himself, and it's the sort of thing we normally get in the narration boxes, and him just saying it to himself just feels weird. It doesn't feel like this is the Superman we've been seeing for the last year.
It is a bit odd.
But I feel like that's by design because of what's going on, what's revealed at the end.
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
Just because that's how that character works. Because I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, no. We'll get to that in a second. And I think if you've got a problem with some of the events in this issue, that might be something that's rectified when we find out more about what's going on and what's causing what and things like that. So I don't want to maybe go too much on that, barring one or two couple of things. The complaints I'll have about all the stuff that happens, though, because he comes up and Cobb's with Lois and he fights Cobb a bit, and that's when he sort of loses his temper. Then they fly off to the town because there's monsters showing up and he has to try and deal with that. And that's where we get to all these double page layouts, where it's, there's like 3 in a row.
Yep.
I didn't think these pages flowed together very well at all. There was moments where I had to go back and look at the last panel to just understand what just happened. There was no real flow to it. The whole thing was just kind of rough. The art didn't look that great, and it felt almost really random to a point. And I kind of obviously I get who this team of characters, like these people have been pretending to be the sheriff, the doctor, whoever else in the town. I get who they are.
Not pretending they were. Like this is what gets me the whole time. There was really never any hints about this. Like all we'd gotten was Cobb. Like it wasn't until this arc that we got that. Oh, the police chief's a little off and the mayor's a little off.
Yeah.
Even in the fair issue, you could have seeded it there a little bit.
I guess the earliest was maybe with the Frankenstein issue with Lois when she was doing her little bit. There might have been little bits there.
With the woman, because that woman's one of them,
Yeah.
But she was an alien,
That's true.
So, but yeah, that's my main problem with it. I like where it goes, but
I like
Pete said, the execution here.
Yeah, I like kind of the idea that's behind it all. I think some of the execution is off, and I also think the moment that happens with Lois at the end of this big action sequence, where something randomly flies off a monster and takes off her leg, it just felt really random and forced for shock value. It didn't feel like it built up to it. It didn't feel like they played it like a proper moment where it was the focus of what was going on. It was just like, oh, here's another random thing that's shocking.
Probably because it hasn't really happened.
I agree, but this is the thing, is even if it hasn't really happened, they should still play it like it is.
No, I agree. It's the reason they're probably not is so that when you get to the stuff at the end, you go, oh, maybe it didn't happen. You look back at it and go, oh, that's why. I think that's the intention, but I don't think it works.
It doesn't work. And I've seen some people this week online where they felt like Lois had been kind of mistreated. It was just this kind of random thing where she's just hurt, like, without a chance of even... Because so far Lois has been a very strong character in this book. Even at the start of this issue, she's like trying to fire blasts off to Cobb and stuff. And here it just kind of feels like, oh no, random thing, legs off, vulnerable as hell, kind of thing.
I mean, I'm going to argue against it a little bit in the sense that it's random. I don't think she was mistreated in the sense there wasn't anything she could do against it. That was kind of the point, and you know that's the thing there. For her.
But that's the problem though. It's poorly told and not built up properly, so it doesn't feel like it's an earned story point. It legitimately feels random and in a really unsatisfying way. It feels like it's just there for shock value and to make her vulnerable, so that Superman has to like care about it, and so John cares about it. Because that's the whole thing here, is that it's manipulating more John than it is anyone else. Because we find out at the end, we get hints of it throughout the issue that someone's with John, John's captured and watching these events unfold. It turns out the villain that's with him, who we kind of... Obviously, we knew this because it leaked a couple of weeks ago, and we didn't mention it on the show because spoilers, and it wasn't public knowledge. Well, it wasn't supposed to be public knowledge anyway.
Yeah, we talk about it if it's in actual official news articles, solicits, whatnot. Yeah. But if it's a leak...
But this was Manchester Black is the villain behind all this, and he wants obviously has a very different idea as to how to be a hero and how to like protect the world, and it's more hands on and less about hope than Superman is, and he's trying to like groom John to become what he thinks Superman should be rather than what Superman is, and that's fine. I did think the leg taking off was just really like shock value.
Oh, it is shock value, but I think I like it from John's perspective because that's his mom. That's the person he cares about most in the world.
Yep. And he couldn't do anything to stop it.
Yeah, and he sees this horrific event.
That's a fine idea. I just think the execution's kind of garbage. Like
I had to go back and double check because of what had happened. Because I didn't know if like Superman had caused that from fighting the creature.
Yeah, I'm still not entirely sure.
So, but we know that this milk and stuff induces hallucinations and whatnot too, because we've seen all that with John down in the swamp and whatnot.
No, I mean,
honestly, I can't trust anything that I'm saying.
I wouldn't be surprised if absolutely everything in this issue is just something that John's seeing and nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if that is in John's head as well, then I guess I can excuse it a bit more. It definitely explains why there's no narration boxes, because he wouldn't hear a narration box.
Right.
So yeah, I can buy that.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. I think it all just comes down... I mean, obviously there's some problems with the art, but I think even just from a writing perspective, the execution here is really kind of off, and it doesn't quite fit. And obviously, this has been a great run pretty much throughout. So it's not like I'm not worried now. Like, okay, they've had one misstep. Like, I'm sure we'll be back on track in an issue or two. Even if the rest of this arc is a little bit off, I'm sure, get to the next one, we'll be fine. There
were flaws in the art and the story and whatever, but there's still some pretty cool moments. Like when Superman finds out Lois is in danger from Cobb and flies up through the ground, and he surfaces and his eyes are glowing red, and he's ready to mess some people up. I really like that. I thought that.
It was okay. Really cool. I thought the first few pages and then maybe the last page were the standout
the
moments.
Designs of the super elite and stuff. I'm just like, okay, it's all coming from out of nowhere. I'd rather just had them been big monsters, than just not the super elite, but like just these big monsters coming from out of nowhere. And if they're all just Manchester Black, just messing with everybody, that's it. And how does Frankenstein play into this? And I'm sure all that will... It was just an oddly paced issue. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, I think this was... It was a weird misstep of an issue. There was a lot of weird things wrong with it. From a storytelling point of view, from an art point of view, I'm not quite sure what happened. Maybe this was rushing an issue out because they were maybe falling a little behind schedule and this one took the hit. Yeah. I'm not sure.